6 p.m., September 21st, 2021. I call to order this Oconee County Council meeting. As a reminder, the public has 2 times that they can speak in council meeting. First is public comments, and the second is public hearing, if there's one scheduled. Other than those 2 times, the public should remain silent during the council meeting. Anyone making a disturbance during the meeting will be asked to leave council chambers for the remainder of the meeting. Also, as a reminder, please ensure that you follow the county's legal prohibition against engaging in partisan political activity, including speech, during this meeting. This meeting is not called for that activity, and such activity is prohibited by law. Moment of silence, please. Mr. Root?
Yes, sir. Pray with me if you'd like to. Father, thank you for this day. Thank you for life that you've given us. Help us not to take that for granted, but to be very appreciative. In fact, just create in us appreciative hearts, grateful hearts for all the many blessings you give, the big and the small. And thank you for your faithfulness, for the daily bread, the sustenance you give us, the opportunities like tonight to do good, to help our neighbors, and help us in this endeavor to be guided by love, your love, a selfless love that looks toward others before ourselves. Give counsel and staff your wisdom. Thank you for the public who's here to help and participate. Let this be your meeting. In your name I pray, amen.
Mr. Davis, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Yes, sir. Please stand. Pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there a motion to approve the September 7th, 2021 regular minutes?
So move.
Second.
Any corrections? All in favor? Aye. Mr. Root?
I have nothing at this point. Thank you.
Ms. Brock?
Yes, sir, I do have 2. One is a housekeeping matter. Mr. Hart received a questionnaire for the District 5 Aeronautics Commission seat. A copy of that is on your desk and will be in the backup materials. Since that questionnaire was not received until today, it was not previously in your backup materials. Second of all, on your desk, you'll see the Oconee Chamber of Commerce Top 20 Under 40 Young Professionals for the year 2021. And I'm proud to announce that 5 of Oconee County's employees were included on that. In just a moment, of recognition for Miss Liz Johnson, Park Superintendent at High Falls County Park, Sergeant Nina McGee of the Oconee County Sheriff's Office, Lieutenant Anna Orr of the Oconee County Sheriff's Office, our one and only Kyle Reed of Oconee County Roads and Bridges Division, and Quintel Walker from the Oconee County Public Library Division. Just one moment where 5 people in Oconee County were recognized for exceptional professionalism for under age 40 in 2021. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. The appointment of interim clerk to county council. Is there a motion to appoint Ms. Kim Wilbanks as the interim clerk to county council?
So move.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Public comment session.
Mr. Elliott, before
Yes,
you go, just, will you kind of explain that so people know what we're doing on that, or Ms. Brock?
I'd be happy to, Mr.
Thank you.
Davis. Thank you.
I don't want any confusion out there on the,
As in the last meeting, Mr. Root and I sort of managed the administrative and record-keeping functions of the clerk to council. Mr. Root and I both are already appointed by council, and us serving in that role would be a dual appointment. For record-keeping purposes, as we do have ordinances that need to be maintained and filed in a permanent record, nor Mr. Root and I cannot do that. Ms. Kim Wilbanks has been with Oconee County for 15 years or so and has been helping with the administrative functions of the preparation for council meetings, and will serve as signator on the ordinances and resolutions that are before you tonight if passed by council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Just want to make sure people knew that we weren't filling that position,
Right.
because it's still out there.
Right.
Thank you, sir.
The public comment session is a reminder, each person has 4 minutes to speak. When 3 minutes goes by, I'll hold up a yellow, 1 minute remaining. When time's up, I'll hold up a red sign saying time's up. We have 2 people signed up for public comment. Mr. David Dow.
Good afternoon, folks. My name is David Dahl, and my wife and I live in the Richland community, which is District 4. And always, thank you for this opportunity to speak. You know, every day we seem to get up, and when we turn on the news, or we're listening, or we read the paper, the federal government is just throwing money around. I mean, trillions of dollars. You got 3.5 trillion here, and 1.3 trillion there, and 500 billion going here and going there. And you know, being 70 years old and hearing these numbers and knowing that we're $30 trillion in debt in this country and wanting more, we've all got to be concerned with that. So, you know, it's just getting to the point where one of these days, if we're not careful, monopoly money is going to be worth more than our currency. And of course, this is causing inflation. We're seeing it in gas prices, we're seeing it in food prices, and we're seeing it across the country, not as bad here in Oconee or in the South Carolinas and some of the others, but we're seeing it. And this is you know, causing that inflation. Well, today I wake up and I get the paper, and I'm just blown away that they have an article in there about our county auditor, who I just met a little while ago, Christy Hubbard, who wants to decrease the millage rate 1.8%. And that was just so refreshing to see that. And so I think she's going to talk about that today, if I'm not mistaken. And I didn't see it on the agenda, but it said so in the paper. And the paper, I appreciate that heads up, so I could say something. This is really, really good. And when it comes up before you folks, I hope you really consider it and look at it. It's gonna help I understand the vehicles and the homes. And with inflation being what it is, and people being on fixed incomes and having to buy gas to go to work and all, I would appreciate it if we can consider this and get this through. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Margaret Harper.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and Council. I spoke to you at the last meeting about reaching out to Red Cross, and I'm working on that myself to see if we can get some help for this winter, for the displaced out here in the county. It's not just in one place, it's all over. And I want to make a plea to the public, the people. Had it not been for George Washington and Paul Revere and all those that did what they did and pulled together, there wouldn't have been freedom. But these people are human beings that were created by God, and I know a lot of people don't believe in God. A lot of people don't believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, but if the community, the city councils, the people of this community pulled together and try to help with this problem, and that's why I'm reaching out to Red Cross. Done talk to National, so I'm gonna reach to Greenville. And I know Mr. Durham is helping with some of this stuff. You gentlemen are doing a great job on what you do. You do the best you can, because you're human just like everybody else. But we need to come together. There's some ingredients that need to take place. Compassion, and Patsy Davis said this, love and unity, united in this county to help our county improve, because last year was a revealing that we wasn't coming together. Had Kathy Rogers been here, and God bless her soul for being what she was, she would have been on top of it. She was part of the Red Cross. We had our office up here in Mulhall. she would have been right on it. It went no further. She would have figured out a way to help with what went on, even in COVID. That's the woman she was, and that's what we need to do. We need to unite, come together, and have caring about every human being, no matter what they look like, what they do, or who they are. Nobody's perfect on this earth. The Bible says that. No man, only Jesus Christ. But he tells us also, he gives us that example of coming together and showing love, because a lot of times he met the physical needs before he said one word about the Word of God. He healed the blind, he fed the hungry. And it's in Matthew 25, if anybody wants to look it up. He tells us what to do. That's why I'm appealing to the community, the city, and most of all, the gentleman on our county council, because you're trying your best. Every job in this country is hard, but when you're trying to run a county, you're like a preacher. You got a load. You got a load on you. And I do thank you all for doing that. I do thank you for what you're trying to do. You may not achieve it, or you may achieve it, but I thank you all for what you're doing, and I thank the people out there that's willing to come together and join with this council and the people that want to do something about the problems in this county. God bless y'all. Thank you.
Council member comments, and I'll start off with an announcement. Oconee County is pleased to announce its new Bannyland Fire Substation location. County officials have worked diligently for more than a year to identify a location for the substation on Kiwi School Road, South Carolina Highway 188. The new substation will be located adjacent to the Maranatha Baptist Church located at 240 Kiwi School Road. Oconee County would like to extend its gratitude to the church, its Board of Deacons, and to the entire congregation for their willingness to subdivide their property for this important investment into emergency services and continued priority in public safety. We are currently conducting due diligence in preparation for the $100,000 purchase. Groundbreaking will be soon. Any other comments?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Dow, you're correct. The amount of money that's being put out there is staggering. But we're blessed that the value of the mill has increased. And it's my hope that we can take Ms. Herbert's recommendation and vote to lower the millage rate. Ms. Harper, thank you for all your work you're doing. I was able to speak with Mr. Kane just very briefly prior to the meeting. And I'd like for me and Mr. Kane and yourself, we can get together and meet, and hopefully we can get the ball rolling on something. That's all.
Yes, sir.
And just to speak on that, Ms. Harper, on the, I serve on some boards that help with the homeless situation as well as rental assistance and things like that. There is multiple organizations that are going on. I know there's several that's in here in Walhalla that help with the drug addiction and things like that. It always needs additional help and additional support with that. And so those organizations are in effect in Oconee County. The problem is just huge. And there are some stipulations to get into some of these programs, but you are correct, the stipulation is not to be perfect. So those organizations do work to help the problem. I know that we're working through to start a little bit sooner when they're in their youth phase so they don't get into those situations. And I know our Sheriff Crenshaw has a lot of programs that he's working through to help reach the youth before they get into situations of homelessness and drugs. So there is a lot of programs going out there that a lot of people are involved in. And so, I'd be glad to plug you into those. But, Red Cross is a great, program, but they're stretched very, very thin, which I think is sometimes why they focus on the larger areas. So they do help here, there's no doubt. But a lot of the organizations here, none of them are associated with the Red Cross, but several of them are agencies that are funded by the people of our community that are very giving, and they do receive some state grants. So I'd be glad to point you in those directions of those that I assist with, and those that do a lot to help those in the community, because we do need people like you that continue to care and help those. And it's a huge problem. It seems like you help one person and 5 more other people are standing in line. So appreciate that. I'd like to, recognize Amanda Brock on the fire department and all that she's done to actually get us a landing site for that. My district has a protection class 10, and for those that are in the insurance world, you pay very, very high premiums, and this is one of those areas that touches and we've worked really hard in our fire protection rates in Oconee County, and that has saved people, not only giving them better fire protection, but has lowered their insurance rates. So I had somebody tell me one time that, we do this fire stuff to help, so I make money selling insurance. It actually lowers insurance premiums, so you get to stick it to your insurance agent, which, is sometimes what people like to do. So I appreciate all your work that you've done in that. I appreciate the church willingness to work and help the citizens, and, continuing to spread the love of Jesus, and sometimes it's in fire, so
Lives and saving souls.
appreciate that. So, and Mr. Chairman, I do have one more thing. I'd like to make a motion to instruct the county attorney to draft a right to life and opportunity proclamation and invite council for input to the attorney for a proclamation to be presented on October 19th or November 5th, whichever he feels like he can have that prepared.
Second.
Any discussion?
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion?
And I do want council's input too, Mr. Reed.
And if I could, let's shoot for the 21st, and if I can get it by the 5th and get it on the agenda, that'd be great. Otherwise, I've seen a number of them, studied a few, put the best of those together, make sure it's constitutionally firm and tailored to the county. But if you have individual questions or whatever, just obviously give me a call.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure. Public hearing for the following ordinances. Ordinance 2021-17. Ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of amended fee agreement between Oconee County and PreZero U.S. Services LLC, and amending the amended fee agreement dated as of October 1st, 2019, and other matters related thereto. No one has signed up for public hearing, therefore I close public hearing 2021-17. Public hearing ordinance 2021-18, an ordinance to rezone parcel 192-00-04-028 from the Conservation District to the Lake Residential District pursuant to Oconee County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 38, Article 8. No one has signed up for public hearing, thereby I close public hearing 2021-18. Third reading of ordinance 2021-17. An ordinance authorizing the execution and delivery of amended fee agreement between Oconee County and PreZero U.S. Services LLC, and amending the amended fee agreement dated as of October 1st, 2019, and other matters related thereto. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Ordinance 2021-18. An ordinance to rezone parcel 192-00-04-028 from the Conservation District to the Lake Residential District pursuant to the Oconee County Court of Ordinances, Chapter 38, Article 8. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Second reading of the following ordinances. Ordinance 2021-20, an ordinance to appropriate and authorize the expenditure of a portion of the local coronavirus fiscal recovery funding that has been allocated to Oconee County under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 ARPA as follows. One, appropriating $3 million of the county ARPA funding for purposes of necessary water and wastewater infrastructure improvements for the city of Seneca Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Project. Two, authorizing the expenditure, subject to certain terms and conditions, is up to $3 million of such appropriated funds for the Seneca Water Infrastructure Project. And three, other matters directly related thereto. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second. Any discussion?
Yes, sir. Mr. Ferris, did you have anything to add to that? I just did want to recognize Mr. Ferris was here, if anybody had any questions on
Okay. Any discussion or questions? If not, all in favor?
the.
First reading of the following ordinance. Ordinance 2021-21. An ordinance to appropriate and authorize the expenditure of a portion of local coronavirus fiscal recovery funding that has been allocated to Oconee County under the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021, ARPA, as follows. One, appropriate $2,474,080 of county ARPA funding for the purpose of necessary water and wastewater infrastructure improvements for the city of Walhalla Water and Wastewater Infrastructure Project. Two, authorizing expenditure subject to certain terms and conditions of up to $2,474,080 of such appropriated funds for the Walhalla Water Wastewater Infrastructure Project. And three, other matters directly related thereto. Is there a motion to approve? Second. Mr. Brandon Burton, will you come up and give us some details?
Can you pull up that backup material?
Sir, thank you, Mr. Chairman. On behalf of the City of Walhalla, thank you for the opportunity to come up here and talk about this, and thank Mr. Durham for meeting the other day and trying to go over some of this. Briefly, I know Ms. Brock had put in the packet what the City of Walhalla would like to do with this request. We've got two projects that we've identified through our waterworks system. One of them is this picture right here is the Poplar Springs area. We have a lot of trouble with water line breaks. We have a pressure issue down there. This will actually upgrade the line that's shown in red, and that will complete a loop. That'll help the residents down there. If there's a break inside the system somewhere, we can have an actual loop, so they're not completely without water. Since we've moved our water plant to the West Union area, the water's coming in a different direction. The city expended funds last fiscal year to put in a pressure reducer. That's on site. We're hoping to get that installed to help out. So with some of our investments and this married together, hopefully that'll give the folks in the Poplar Springs area a little bit better product and better service than what they've seen. And in return, some of our regular capital maintenance funds during the regular fiscal year we'll use to fix some of those laterals and some other stuff down there as well. Myself, staff engineer, and some help come up with this cost estimate. We tried to keep it pretty tight, the best we can. As everyone knows, things have raised, prices have raised, so the 10-inch ductile iron, it's pretty costly. Hopefully, labor stays the same. We kind of can estimate that a little bit better than we can construction prices. But there's a little bit of, I call it errors and omissions, a little bit of contingency built into this, about 5%. But you can see the breakdown on that, and the estimate for this project is $884,000 and a little bit of change for that. So entertain any questions if you have on that piece of the project.
Any questions on that piece?
Okay. And just in the past, you just kind of recap, we've spent about $60,000 in the past repairing things. This year alone, I think we've had 12 system breaks. I know over the 4th of July, the water department was hammered pretty hard on trying to get out there and fix breaks, and some of them lasted, a couple of days. So this project will help eliminate that, so I appreciate your consideration on that. The next piece is the North Highway 11 project. Since we moved our water treatment plant to the West Union area, we have a 12-inch main that ties in down at Itron. So we've got a good main water line going up to there. From there, it connects and runs on up Highway 11 past Country Junction to the intersection of 183 and Highway 11. We've got a pump station there. Our problem is we're not getting enough volume. Probably a little more than a quarter of our system users live in that area and that are affected by this water line. So if we can increase this water line, we can continue to provide those folks the water that they need and hopefully eliminate other system failures. In addition to this, we're hoping to take some allocation that we'll get from the state to go from the pump station on up towards Highway 11, because we're getting a lot of breaks there. The pipe's old. That serves the high school. So this project right here increases the pipe size to 12-inch ductile iron, and will go will help feed the high school. This also feeds parts all the way out to Knox Road, the Chalmers Mountain area. This entire project, both the Poplar Springs and the North Highway 11, it covers multiple council districts. So I just wanted to let you know about that. And the cost estimate for that is pretty stout. We tried to keep it, tight as best we can. Again, with materials for projects increasing. So we're looking at about, almost 1.6 million for that project.
Any questions for Mr. Burton? Any discussion? Thank you, Mr. Burton.
Thank you.
All in favor? Aye. First and final reading of the following resolution.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
before you read this resolution, I'm going to excuse myself since it pertains to my employer, but with it being my employer, I can promise you there's no one up here who appreciates them more than myself. So, thank you.
Okay, first and final reading of the following resolutions. Resolution 2021-11, a resolution recognizing and expressing Oconee County's support and appreciation of Duke Energy for its numerous contributions to Oconee County. Whereas the members of Oconee County Council would like to acknowledge our appreciation and support of Duke Energy for its decades of vital and transformative contributions to Oconee County, the upstate, and the state of South Carolina. Whereas Duke Energy has a long history of innovative and safe operations in Oconee County. Whereas Oconee County is home to Lake Cassie, Lake Kiwi, and several vital Duke Energy generation assets such as Bad Creek Pump Storage Generation Station and Oconee Nuclear Station. Whereas Oconee County is also home to Duke Energy World of Energy in Seneca, the oldest nuclear energy education center in the nation that has hosted more than 3 million visitors since opening in 1969. Whereas Duke Energy has proven to be a good neighbor in Oconee County, as its responsible operations and stewardship of the lakes has helped the county develop a reputation as a premier location for outdoor recreation and tourism in the southeastern United States. Whereas Duke Energy has been a vital economic development partner for Oconee County for decades by offering affordable power that has helped attract jobs and associated development. Whereas Duke Energy has supported local educational institutions such as Tri-County Technical College in developing training programs and other initiatives to allow our young people to achieve their potential. Whereas Oconee County is excited to continue partnering with Duke Energy in the decades ahead to meet the evolving energy challenges of Oconee County, the upstate, the state of South Carolina, and the entire region, while preserving the natural beauty, economic opportunities, and livability that make Oconee County the golden corner of South Carolina. Therefore, We, the Coney County Council, do hereby recognize and express our support and appreciation for Duke Energy for its numerous contributions to Coney County. Is there a motion to approve? Second. All in favor? Aye.
This is a lot more fun than a storm. Where do you want me? Thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Y'all for what all you do.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Where's Lynn go?
Oh, thank you so very much.
I still take a picture.
Yeah, come on.
Move you in there. At least that was a beautiful lady.
She makes y'all look good.
She does.
Oh, my.
Just hold on.
Okay. Cheese.
Cheese.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
Duke
much, sir.
Energy.
Thank you. I'll see you again next month.
Yes,
Thank
you
you.
will. Yes, you will.
Just don't forget to pay your tax bill.
Check's in the mail, right?
Resolution 2021-12, a resolution recognizing Suicide Prevention Month. Whereas the Coney County recognizes that suicide is a leading cause of death among youth and supports actions in preventing suicidal ideation, attempts, and deaths. Whereas according to Centers for Disease Control, one person dies by suicide every 11 minutes, resulting in more than 45,000 deaths each year in the United States alone. Whereas suicide is the 10th leading cause of death among adults in the United States, the second leading cause of death among people ages 10 to 34, the fourth leading cause of death among people ages 35 to 44, and the fifth leading cause of death among people ages 45 to 54. Whereas suicide is a preventable national, state, and local public health crisis, yet suicide rate has increased in the United States by approximately 35% since 1999. Whereas the stigma associated with mental health conditions and suicidality works against suicide prevention by discouraging persons at risk for suicide from seeking life-saving help, and further traumatizes survivors of suicide loss and people with lived experience of suicide. Whereas it's essential to educate and encourage community members to recognize warning signs of suicide and to guide those in need to appropriate services and supports. Whereas research shows that people who are having thoughts of suicide feel relief when someone asks how they're doing in a caring way. Whereas the month of September is National Suicide Prevention Month, which is a campaign in response to the need to raise awareness and prevention of suicide and to educate communities about their role in suicide prevention. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Coney County Council hereby recognizes and supports the goals of the National Suicide Prevention Month and encourages all residents of the Coney County to work to raise awareness, build resiliency, and help those in need. Is there a motion to approve?
Make motion.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Discussion regarding action items. Presentation of millage recommendation for tax year 2021, fiscal year 2022. Ms. Christy Hubbard, Coney County Auditor.
Good evening. You guys would have me follow that resolution, but
Thank you for all that you do.
thank you for recognizing Suicide Prevention Month. It has impacted my family greatly. So, I'm sorry.
Mr. Chairman, if you want, let's move the,
No, I'm good.
Why don't you let the
No, I'm good.
education get
I'm
up?
good, I'm good. When it comes to millage each year, the first thing we have to look at is who does what. What I do is I bring all the assessments to you, and you have to actually vote on the operating millage for the county and the operating millage for the school district. I will set the millage for the bonds for the school district and for the county. When determining the assessment rate, I look at everything in the county that is taxable. It goes from real estate to boats and motors to vehicles, all manufacturing property, railroads, and the legal residential homes in the county. This year, the county operational assessment is $586 million, which equates to $586,603 per mill. For school operations, the value of their mill or assessment is $422,808 million. The value of their mill is $422,808,000 per mill. And for school bonds, their assessment is $622,808 million, and the value of their mill is $622,808 per mill. The next step into determining the millage is to look at what was actually approved by county council during the budget process for the school and for the counties. For Oconee County this year, $41.8 million was approved, and for the school district, $68.2 million was approved. There are some factors in those numbers where I actually deduct some dollars when it comes to determining how many mills to actually set. And what I do is I take out the fee in lieu of, all the state reimbursements, tier dollars, delinquent taxes, and penalties. So this year for the county, we're going to set millage on $37.4 million, and for the school, we're going to set millage on $48.9 million. My recommended millage for county operations and Tri-County Tech is 77.3 mills. For school operations, I would like to recommend 115.7. That is 0.8 of a mill reduction from last year. And for county bonds, we're going to set the millage at 2 mills, which is a 1 mill reduction. And for school bonds, it will be 31 mills. For the millage for the bonds this year, for the 2 mills, the county's going to be paying $1.36 million in payments, and the school district will be an estimated $18.2 million. Most of the city millages remain the same. Salem's going to say it's 37 mills. Seneca's going to be 62.7. Walhalla's 84. Westminster's 99.3. And West Union is the only one to increase, which is going up 1.5 mills to 51.8 mills. For the people who live in the Kiwi Fire District, their millage will increase as well. It was 14.5 last year. It will be 17.5 this year. And that was approved in March of 2021. So again, a recap of millage for county operations. Be 74.3 for Tri-County Tech 3, school district 115.7, and for bonds for county 2 mills, and for the school district 31. That would give a total millage of 226. Last year it was 227.8, so that is a 1.8 mil recommended reduction. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. I don't want to put you on the spot, but let's say that I own a $150,000 or $200,000 home, whatever which one you want to pick. Do you have that computed to where you can tell, even if it's $100,000, what?
On your home?
Yes.
Okay, if I do actually. Did you give them him out? I have it. Okay, if you have a $100,000 house and it's not your residence, you're going to save $10.80. If you have a $100,000 house and it is your residence, you're going to save $8.80. And if you live there and you're over 65 and you have the homestead exemption, you'll save $16.20.
Per 100,000.
per 100,000. And for a vehicle, if you've got a $25,000 vehicle, it's a reduction of $2.70, and for 50, it would be $5.40.
That's all I wanted to know, Mr. Chairman. I want to make a motion to accept the recommended millage as set by the auditor.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chair. Yes, I just want to thank Ms. Hubbard for, I know this is not an easy calculation. It takes a lot of work for you and your team to get that all squared away, so we appreciate what you do for Oconee County.
Thank you. My office and the assessor's office has worked very hard in the last couple months to get all this together, so thank you very much.
And we appreciate the good news, too.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to echo what Mr. Kane said, because this could be mind-boggling. If you take in, that's what the whole value of Oconee County is, you came up with it. And that's, is mind-boggling. Thank you.
Thank you. And what I come up with is the taxable value, not the market value, so that there is a difference there, just to make note of that.
Any other questions or discussion? Thank you.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Local aid tax grants, fall 2021 cycle, $223,225. Staff recommendation that council approve ATEX grant recommendations per the attached spreadsheet. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, I didn't get the spreadsheet.
I have a paper copy right here.
Mine, thank you.
These are all of the ones we do in-house, her.
It's in the backup material too. You can pull it up online if anybody.
It is.
Wants to see
I do
the-
want to make a note, Mr. Hart had called and complained earlier and said that there were certain files that were in the backup material because of the limitations in memory on your iPads, he was unable to
Right.
get.
Yeah. It's page 6,
You good? You good?
page 60.
He's good. Anybody else any questions or discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Procurement number RFP 21-02, titled Aviation Fuel, Department Airport, amount $675,000, aviation gas, 200,000, jet aviation, 475,000. It's staff recommendation that council approve the award of RFP 21-02 aviation fuel to Aviation Fuels, Inc., doing business as Titan Aviation Fuels of New Bern, North Carolina, in an estimated amount of $675,000. And 2, authorize the county administrator to execute the contract documents and to renew this contract for up to 4 years, up to 4 one-year periods, as long as the amount does not exceed the amount budgeted for aviation fuel and services provided are satisfactory. Is there a motion to approve?
Move.
Any discussion?
I would like to state that we do sell this for a profit, and this is, especially like this last weekend, we had a lot of traffic in there, and we have a lot of industry that use that airport as well, and they are very appreciative of the services that we provide at that airport. So, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion? All in favor? Aye. Networking infrastructure for Oconee County 9/11 Center, Department of Communications, amount $85,407.48. The staff's recommendation that council approve the purchase of networking infrastructure for the 9/11 Backup Center, Iron Grid Networks LLC of Commerce, Georgia, amount of $85,407.48. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Council committee reports, is none scheduled for the meeting. Board and commission appointments. Aeronautics Commission, District 5, there are 2 questionnaires on file.
Well, I got a real good puzzle here. I've got 2 well-qualified candidates, but I've only talked with one of them, and that was Mr. Eric Barnhill, and I would like to nominate him for that position.
All in favor?
Aye.
Building Codes and Appeals Board, one at-large seat, no questions, errors on file for this seat. Council will go in executive session for the following purposes: receive legal advice and discuss opioid litigation. 2, discuss personnel matters regarding clerk council position, including candidate assessment. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ready when you are, sir.
One in the middle.
Ready when you are, sir.
Okay. Is there a motion to go out of executive session?
Move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
No action was taken in executive session. Mr. Root?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We need motions in relation to both executive session items. The first one regarding the receipt of legal advice and discussion on opioid litigation. I need a motion authorizing the council chair to issue a letter to the South Carolina Attorney General as requested by our litigation attorneys.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In relation to the next matter, the personnel matter regarding the clerk to council position, need a motion to direct the county administrator to extend an offer as discussed to candidate number one, and if accepted, to start the onboarding process.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Still leave.